Aboriginal people, why don't they just make the right choices? There's choices. Everyone's got choices. And there's choices. And all you got to do is pick the right one. That's what you got to do. Why don't Aboriginal people make the right choices? Just choose the right thing. Now, I'll tell you something shocking. All right. Especially if you don't already like Aboriginal people. You're not going to like Aboriginal people even more. Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people make up less than 4% of Australia, yet compared to non-Indigenous Australians, Aboriginal adults are more than 16 times likely to be put in jail. 16 times than non-Indigenous Australians. Aboriginal children are 11 times more likely to be in out-of-home care, be put in out-of-home care. These are not opinions, they're nationally reported outcomes. So naturally, many non-Indigenous Australians ask in their head, or they scan the room when they're with their mate and they whisper, why don't Aboriginal people just make better choices? Like seriously, we've all had hard things happen to us. Like, just make a better choice. Now for those people who think like that, whether they thought it out loud, they whispered it, scanned the room, I want to explain something to you. And it's something that they never taught you in school about choices and the illusion that choices are equal for everybody. Now, I want you to use your imagination. There's 1,000 people. They're all sitting in a line, shoulder to shoulder, and they're given the same instruction, very simple instruction. Everybody stand up and move forward. So many people in the line, they stand up, they move forward, very simple. But some barely move, and some people don't move at all. Now, those who step forward turn around and they're confused because there's still people sitting there, or there's people mucking about. And they're getting confused. All you gotta do, mate, all you gotta do, stand up, like I did, stand up, walk forward, step forward. So they say, stand up, step forward. And the people who haven't stood up and the people who haven't done that reply, I'm trying or I can't. Now the people who've stood up are confused, and that confusion turns into frustration as they're waiting for these people to make a simple decision to stand up and move forward. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? You got legs. Use them legs that you got. Make the choice to use them. Follow the instructions. Stand up, step forward. Now the people who cannot move respond, I know I have legs, I just can't use them. Now those who move forward hear this, they're baffled. They're so confused. How can someone have legs but still not walk? The problem is the crowd, they can see the legs, they're right there, but what they cannot understand is the ability to move them is not equal amongst everybody who started or is still on that line. What the crowd can't see is that some people struggle with their mobility, some people are injured, some people cannot move, and some people cannot move at all because they're paralyzed. So yeah, they may have legs, but they do not have access to movement, or to the same amount of movement as somebody else. And no matter how badly they want to move, their body will only do what it is capable of. And no amount of them even yelling at themselves, I need to make the right choice, will change that ability or that inability to be able to move. Now, this is how we talk about, this happens all the time, this is how we talk about responsibility and choice. And it's no different to how many conversations around Aboriginal people go down. Now, it's funny how our heads work, because when we see somebody who's in a wheelchair, we know that there's something that has happened to that person or still going on within that person, a prior event or a cause that is causing them to not be able to walk even though they may have legs. There's something from the past that is affecting them in the present, something that changed their capacity. But when people look at Aboriginal people, that insight often disappears, because it's easier to judge somebody on surface level and what we see than to truly understand that there may be something going on. And this is where people go wrong. They see another human being who looks different to them, who's behaving different to them, and assume the problem is 100% about choice, not capacity. Where humans go wrong, we do it all the time, is we mistakenly talk about choice and choices as if everybody has the same access to them, as if having a theoretical option is the exact same as having the ability to take that option. It doesn't. Yes, everyone technically has choices in life, but it is an illusion. It is an illusion that everybody has the same choices or the same access to those choices. Some people are lucky enough to grow up in stable housing with safe, with healthy, consistent adults and the belief that their future is worth planning for, that life's worth living. And other people, I know myself, have grown up in survival mode, where their nervous system, where our nervous system is wired for constant threat detection and surviving the moment. And that type of thinking and wiring isn't healthy for long-term thinking. We're trying to react in the moment with what we know. Some people are taught how to manage anger, how to manage stress, shame, relationships, consequences. Some people aren't. Some people grow up in environments where constantly reacting with violence, reacting to everything with violence is actually what keeps them safe. I know it's paradoxical, but that's how it works. So when someone says just make a better decision, they're often judging from a position where a wide range of access to choices was granted and never questioned they had that access. Now, this is where a lot of people go wrong, especially in Australia. This is not about excuses, okay? It's not about justifying people's behaviours or people's poor behaviours. It's not about removing responsibility. It's not about removing accountability. And it's also not saying all Aboriginal people are severely traumatised and everyone's up, that all Aboriginal people have zero capacity. I'm not saying that. And it's also not saying people can't change. I'm a prime example, people can change. It is about understanding that it is an illusion that choice is the same for all people. It is about understanding capacity is a reality. Capacity is what is real. And that this equality of choices and everybody's got an equal choice, that's an illusion. Because the truth is, this is neuroscience, this is backed up by evidence. People talk about facts over emotions, and that's important. Trauma, people's childhoods, growing up in poverty, being exposed to domestic violence, all of these things, which a lot of it comes from the past, can and does change people's brain, changes people how they view the world. It changes how the brain processes risk, impulse, consequences. And it's not a myth, it's neuroscience. This is how it works. Dispossession, being taken from your mothers and your fathers, changes where people start from in life. When people's wages were stolen, that changes then how many Aboriginal people inherit assets. How many Aboriginal people do you know have inherited houses and properties and business? I don't know many. And systems that, as well, let's quickly talk about systems that punish people without building support and building preventative measures. They don't create responsibility and choices, they erode it. Another thing, if incarceration, child removal, suicide rates for Aboriginal people were solved by just making better choices, we would have fixed this generations ago. We wouldn't still be talking about it. I just want to end it with this. The real question isn't why do people not just make better choices? It's asking whether these people were or still are given access to the conditions that make these choices possible. Because telling somebody to just stand up and move forward means all if the person you're talking to wasn't given access or hasn't been given access to movement in the first place. Like always, love yous, whether you're black, white, brown, whether you're proud to be Aussie, whether you're proud to be black, whether you're proud to be mixed. I've got love for all colours, all cultures. I truly believe that we have to understand each other, and we've been lacking for a very long time. People who know how to communicate to Indigenous people who know how to communicate to non-Indigenous people, and not just talk past them, but talk with them and listen. That's what we've got, 2 ears and 1 mouth. And that's what I'm going to continue to do. Much love to you all. P.S. quickly before you go, I have on my website, I'll put it in my description below, a link to something that I've just produced with a social worker. It's a mental health course for Aboriginal people. We're doing a pay it forward model. The whole point of this is the government's trying to throw money at initiatives and whatnot, but the statistics show they're not working. So what we need is grassroots people who actually care, who give a uck fay, not swearing, YouTube, to step up, as I've done myself, as plenty of other people, not just me, and develop things like this for our community. So you can pay it forward. I'm going to put a link in the description below. Love yous.